everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Rams House podcast. I'm joined by my co-host OJ and Joe. What's going on, guys?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up?
What's up? What's up?
Not much. It's an exciting time. Off-season stuff going on. A lot of rumors happening. Before we get into any of that, I did want to mention. I forgot to mention last week that our guy Will is still going to continue to be on the podcast. He just decided to take a break for now. He's got some stuff going on during the off-season. He's going to take a quick break. He'll be back before long. But we appreciate you guys tuning in. Today we're going to be discussing free agency and trade options. Before we hop into that, let's discuss some newer news that has kind of come out today about a potential Matthew Stafford trade. Something I think we all three of us find really interesting is about a week ago, Adam Schefter was asked about the possibility of Stafford being traded to the Giants for the third pick, and he said there's no chance in hell, basically. But today he was like, Stafford's available. Remember, there was a video. I don't even know what podcast he was on, but he was asked about it, and he's like, "Yeah, it's an intriguing offseason because there's three veteran quarterbacks who are essentially available this offseason: Matthew Stafford, Russell Wilson, and Aaron Rodgers." So he described Stafford as available and described basically if Stafford doesn't, in nice terms, he said basically if Stafford doesn't really agree to the terms of a deal that the Rams are wanting, then they're going to look to trade him. And
Yep.
then to add to that, because that's Schefter went from there's no way in hell to actually there's there's some noise about a Stafford trade to the Giants. Then the other thing that happened today was Daniel Jeremiah put out a new mock draft, and he was asked specifically, "Hey, why did you go from the Giants having Shador Sanders at 3 to now picking Travis Hunter at 3? Why wouldn't they want a quarterback anymore?" And he put a GIF of Matthew Stafford up. So he was specifically talking about basically. Now he wasn't giving us the third pick and necessarily in that scenario. Although I don't think Daniel Jeremiah does trades in his mocks. So, but what he was saying, it was basically, hey, there's rumors about Stafford going to the Giants and them no longer needing a quarterback. Um, Very interesting stuff. So the rumors about Stafford being traded are heating up big time. Whether this is just a ploy to gain leverage for the negotiations of the contract or whether there's actual fire behind it, I guess we can't know for sure. But the fact that Schefter went from no chance to Stafford could be on the move is a pretty big deal to me.
Yeah. I don't know if he was specifically saying like it's no chance he'll be moved, or was he specifically saying just for he wouldn't be moved for a third, for a first. I mean, for the pick 3 in the first round. I don't know if he was correlating the two together, but even past all that though, it's still super interesting that we've got to this point because after the season ended, all of us thought pretty much that it was a shoe in that he'd be back. The whole fan base did. I even did. I'm pretty sure Ethan and OJ, you guys probably thought there was a shoe and he'd be back.
For sure, yeah.
But but quick, like it went pretty fast. I think after he got eliminated, the words start coming out. Okay, he's looking for a new contract. Okay, then Kelly start acting up, and so now it's just building up, building up, building up. And I think we probably see a trade. It's like 50-50 to me right now, just because I'm not sure if he's asking. 'Cause I know we had a discussion about that. I'm not sure if he's asking for a raise or is he asking for more guaranteed money, or he's asking, like I said, a raise on his extension. But whatever he asks for, if it's not exactly right what the Rams want, he's going to be traded.
So
So hopefully it happens sooner than later.
I do want to throw this in also, but Jordan Rodriguez um, posted yesterday about it. She had an interview, I think, with the Bleacher Report, and she mentioned basically
Hmm.
that the Rams are hesitant to invest any long-term money in Matthew Stafford at all, which to me is
Yep.
even just money next year in 2026 season, 2027 season, because his future is in doubt, which is just plain by the fact that every offseason him and Kelly talk about him retiring for like the last 4 seasons. Since the Super
Yeah,
Bowl, every offseason they've been discussing retirement. And durability has been in question. And look, he did play all the games last season, but that's not necessarily a good sign for Matthew Stafford. He tends to have a game where he plays every game, and then the next season he's hurt. He seems to like alternate between being healthy and injured. Um, so, but yeah, it sounds like from the interviews and stuff that we've seen, it sounds like the Staffords, I'm going to say the Staffords because Kelly's so involved in this. The Staffords want more money and they want more guaranteed money from everything that we've seen. and they want more, obviously, long-term money. Jordan wouldn't have said that the Rams are hesitant to give long-term money if that wasn't something that is being asked of them, right? And so, yeah, I think there's a legit chance that we part ways here. I would say 50-50 is a good solid percentage. But when
Yeah, that's what I think it is.
the Rams are saying, hey, they don't want to give long term money because there's questions about his future, his durability. And I know she's not going to write this because it's unprofessional, but we can agree he's on a decline. So
Yep.
it's really interesting. I think this stuff is heating up. I think it gets resolved, him and Cup, in the next week. Do you remember? So I want to throw something your way, and you guys tell me what you think. But we were talking about how it's crazy that they said they were going to get the Cup thing wrapped up quickly, but now we're 2 weeks later, over 2 weeks later, and it's still not wrapped up. I'm wondering if the reason it's not wrapped up is because there's a potential for a trade involving Stafford and Cup together. And until that's put to bed one way or another, they're not going to move Cup by himself.
I think possibly that's the case. I mean, I know this is just like a player just tweeting out just random tweets and they could be nothing, but when Malik Neighbors tweeted those tweets, I think he first put 10, then he put 9, then he put 9 and 10. Now, that might not mean anything, but if we're correlating it to the reason why Cup hasn't been traded yet, and the Rams did say they were going to move swiftly with it, and they haven't. Like I said, Ethan, it's probably due to them trying to ship them together in a package, whether that is to New York or to Pittsburgh or to somewhere else or another QB needy team. It's probably, or there's another scenario that I talked about before in the Discord that maybe the return that the Rams are trying to get for Cup, maybe it's not what meets their requirement. I guess that's another possibility. Maybe with because Cup, maybe teams are not, in a way, are telling the Rams you're gonna have to take on the contract because he does have an expensive contract. He is 30 plus years old, and they're probably gonna tell the Rams that he has an injury history. So there's a lot of risks that we're taking, and maybe teams are using it as leverage and causing the Rams to possibly, trade for basically maybe just like a fifth or sixth round pick.
You know what? Something that you said that I just thought of. The Steelers, right? So
Yeah,
to me, if you make a package of Cup and Stafford, to me that's a perfect trade. More perfect than the Giants, just because I think Mike Tomlin is under like a secret hot seat. I don't think they're gonna put it out loud just because he's been there for so long, but I think he's under like a secret hot seat.
I think so.
And you give him a veteran QB like Stafford, who they can win right now. Are there other defensive players? The defensive stars are getting older. Cam Hayward, T.J. Watt, Minka Fitzpatrick. They're getting up there in age, so you can get a guy like Staff. Boom. Then you got Cooper Cup, and Cooper Cup will be great for the team, but he also will be great for George Pickens.
yeah,
Because George Pickens needs like that mentor type of guy to get him to the next level because he's a great player. He's talented, but he still hasn't matured in the personal level. So Cooper Cup will be there and help him a lot in that area. So if I'm the
for sure.
Steelers, and
Yeah.
if you can make if you can make it work money wise, you can give the Rams what they want. The Steelers should do that trade because that's a slam dunk.
To be honest, it is a slam dunk for them. Not only that, but you're also talking about a team who could have a really good offense last year because we know their defense is baller, right? Like they have Minka
Yep.
Fitzpatrick, T.J. Watt, they have Herbig, they have Cam Hayward still. Like they have a lot of pieces, and Joey Porter Jr. starting to really come on. Defense is set. You give them, and I think to a degree, Stafford reminds me of Ben Roethlisberger. Not a ton, but to somewhat. He's big, very big dude, strong arm, clutch, that kind of stuff. So Tomlin is familiar with that kind of quarterback, and you're talking about Stafford would have a okay O line, decent O line. Then they would have they still have Jalen Warren. He's still on the team. Great third down back. So they would probably want to pick up another running back and free. But imagine if they picked up AJ Dillon and they got Jalen Warren. They have a 1-2 back with those guys, right?
Yep.
Then they've got Pickens at the wide receiver 1. They have a Cup in the slot. They'll still probably need a wide receiver 3. Then they got Pat Freiermuth and Darnell Washington. That offense could actually be pretty talented. And when you combine it with how potent that defense can be, and that defense is aggressive, they get a lot of turnovers, a lot of sacks. Like, if you want to be a contending team, if you want to You know, what Tomlin really needs is to make the playoffs and to win some playoff games. That's what he ultimately needs
Hmm.
to do. Doesn't need to win a Super Bowl. He needs to win some playoff games, though. It's been how many years? What they said it's like 10 years since Tomlin won a playoff game, something like that.
I
He
think
needs one. He needs one.
since like 2018 or 2016 is
Yeah,
one of
yeah,
the two.
something like that. It's
Yeah,
been like 8 to 10
yeah,
years. So, um, it makes a lot more. I mean, honestly, it makes sense for the Giants too. It sounds like both those guys are on the hot seat. The GM and the coach could be fired. And then you're talking about a young running back with Tyrone Tracy, a decent O line. You have Andrew Thomas and that young right tackle they drafted a couple years ago. I forgot what his name is. You got Neighbors. You could potentially re-sign Darius Slayton. You got Cooper Cup. Then you have. I mean, that's an offense that could start competing. And the defense has pieces. You know, Brian Burns, Kayvon. They have some. They have Brian Okoroko at linebacker. They have Dexter Lawrence. Like the Giants just need to make the playoffs. Stafford and Cup might actually get them there, and the Steelers could win some playoff games with Stafford. So it makes sense for both teams, and it also makes sense from the Rams' perspective. So we've kind of discussed that before, but kind of want to talk about that a little more. I mean,
Yeah, definitely.
it's just a question about whether you think Stafford is the guy to because the Rams should be in one of two modes, like full blown contending for a Super Bowl mode, or like a mini rebuild to take advantage of our extreme talent.
for sure.
And I think if you play your cards right, you could do both at the same time. What does it
Hmm.
look like to play your cards right and do both? It looks like trading Matthew Stafford and Cooper Cup for draft picks, unloading some of that salary, getting some cap relief, and then drafting more young guys. Also, obviously, hitting free agency out of the park. That would require us to go get a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers or Russell Wilson, and obviously upgrade significantly at running back.
Hmm.
But we're not far. It sounds like T. Higgins is probably not going to hit the market.
Yeah, he
We've
got
seen
tagged,
points to
so
yeah. Well, it's not done yet, but it's rumored.
yeah, it's most likely. I mean, I'll say this though, he's definitely not signing back with him next year. I think that's a certain because he's probably not happy with them not working out a contract with him. You know, if I was him and if this is what they were gonna do, I would have already like tried to have requested a trade. To be honest with you, like maybe even like during the season. But yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, man. If it's not T Higgins, you could pick up. There's still some other guys out there.
yeah, there are
It's
other
still
options. Yeah,
it's so many avenues of ways we could have a wonderful off season.
I mean
But back to the
that's a fun
go
thing
ahead, I'm sorry.
about it, right? You know,
Yeah.
there's so many avenues that they can go through. So it's not like we're stuck with just one scenario. Like we can go through
Hmm.
the draft,
yeah, yeah.
obviously sign someone.
I call it theory crafting. All off
Yeah, theory
season,
craft.
we
Yep.
get to theory craft what the Rams could look like next year, what moves they could make.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's why
Uh,
I say that this is the most important offseason for the Rams. The last 2 years, we were retooling, and because we hit so well in the draft, it basically we did a fast rebuild in a way. So
Yeah,
now we're at this point where, based off the moves that we do, if we do the correct moves, we will set ourselves up to like maybe 10 years in the future to be a consistent contender in the NFC. And I'm talking about like contender to make the playoffs, contender for the Super Bowl.
yeah,
Now, on the vice versa, unfortunately, the negative effect, if we make the wrong moves and make the wrong decisions, it could set us back for years. And I know this is just me speaking. Hypothetically, if that happens, there are going to have to be some discussions about the front office. I'm specifically looking at Les Snead. And the reason why I'm saying that is, as we've seen the last couple of years, free agency for the Rams has been rough. We have not hit on many free agents, and it's hindered our chances, especially last year. I mean, like this past year, of reaching the Super Bowl. Because if we, for example, right, Jonah Jackson. Now, obviously, Bo Limmer, we drafted Bo Limmer and he panned out, but we have to remember Bo Limmer's a 6th round pick. Jonah Jackson was a guard that we paid 15 mil per year that was supposed to be a starting center slash guard for us. He got injured,
mhm.
and on top of that, he was performing well, and we got bailed out because a rookie came in and performed well. But that doesn't mean that the Jonah signing was good. That's the same thing. Like we said, I think we talked about this last week. It's basically the process. The process that we're doing with some of these free agent signings doesn't make any sense, and it's not working out.
yeah,
So
yeah. Joe, you wanted to talk
Yeah.
more about the Stafford trade?
Oh yeah. I was gonna go back to that real fast. More about like well, Stafford with me, how I feel about him being with the Rams or not. Like we discussed before, if he comes back, I'm cool, and if he leaves, I'm cool. But it's certain parameters that I think of if he comes back. Like it depends on how much money he wants. To me, I feel like this is the time. I don't know if he wants to do it or not. Obviously, he might not. But this is a Tom Brady time. This is a time where you should be able to. Where you should take a pay cut because
Yeah.
we gave you a contract after the Super Bowl last year. We gave you almost a fully guaranteed
Actually,
contract.
every offseason we've given him a raise and more
I would
guaranteed money.
say that's where the frustration is at for sure.
Yes, like you see us, you know that you're not going to play 10 more years. You probably got 2, 3 more years max, probably 2 years max. So it should be the time where, okay, I see this team could be good. Let me take a pay cut like Tom Brady did so they can have more avenue, even though we still got money, but it's always good to have more so we can even go even more all in to, as use that as figure of speech. So if he's gonna take a pay cut, I'll easily welcome him back because I don't know, I know you guys feel a little differently, but I feel like if we make this team great around Stafford and make it to where he doesn't have to do too much on a game to game basis, I think we could still win the Super Bowl. But it's all dependent on if he's going to sacrifice. But I don't know if he's going to sacrifice or not. So that's just up in the air. And if you don't want to sacrifice, give me Russell Wilson, give me Aaron Rodgers, who are going to be cheaper quarterbacks and who can do the same thing or even better at times than Stafford can. So that's where I'm at with that.
I guess I'll just quickly say this about Stafford. Like for me personally, it's not like if Stafford does come back, I'm obviously, in my opinion, like that's not the scenario I would like to go through, the situation that I would go with. But if he does come back, it's not the end of the world. I would say that, but I would say it would hurt us at least in the short term for like a couple of years. I'll say that because if we trade him away with this, I'm going to say it now. It honestly is a fleecing if you think about it. These offers that we're getting with the Steelers and the Giants, because this is a 37-year-old quarterback who's been flirting with retirement, who is also declining in his performance. He could retire next year. So this offer could never come again. I'll be honest with you. This is, in a way, it's kind of like it's a hand of God to us. It's like it's telling us like there's this opportunity here for you that is a once in a lifetime opportunity that if you take it, could you just set yourself up for years to come, draft a future QB? If not, if you don't want to draft a future QB, you can trade picks back, get other positions, and then next year go after maybe a guy like Arch Manning, for example. I'm just saying hypotheticals. I'm not saying
Yeah,
this is
I
all going to
mean,
happen, but I'm just thinking about the possible scenarios. But that's my reason for Stafford. Is basically all
it's
that.
not every day you get a chance
Yeah,
to get a good amount of value for a guy who's just about done.
yeah,
Because what do they always say? It's better to get rid of someone too soon than too late.
yeah.
And I think we're actually at the point with Stafford where it might just be the exact right time to move on. The value is still there where we could get essentially the value of a late first round pick
Yep.
is kind of where he's at, maybe a first and a third or something like that. Um, by the end of next year, I theorize that Matthew Stafford will have almost no value.
He might retire.
He might
That
just flat out
he
retire.
might just
So
retire. I mean, that's the risk that we're taking if we don't take this trade.
I agree. All right, so
Yeah,
you guys ready to hop into today's discussion? We are discussing the
let's do
defensive
it.
free
Let's do it,
agency
man.
and trade options. We did last week. We did offense. Let's do a quick recap on where we left off last week. We left off here so here's our needs that we discussed: quarterback, running back, receiver 2 starter, receiver 1 backup, tight end, left tackle, guard. All these different things, and then we have the defensive stuff. So we left off with free agents: Russell Wilson starter, Jameis Winston backup, Aaron Rodgers starter, Daniel Jones backup, Jimmy Garoppolo backup, and then a potential trade for Trevor Lawrence or Aaron Rodgers if need be, and then a trade for Joe Milton as a developmental backup. Running backs, we got A.J. Dillon and Jordan Mason from free agency as backups or even like secondary backs. And then trade options, we got Jonathan Taylor, Braylon Allen, and Alvin Kamara. Receiver-wise, we've got a whole laundry list of people: T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, Darius Slayton, Mac Hollins, Tim Patrick, Devontae Adams, Christian Kirk, Jalen Highland. And then for trades, we have Jalen Hyatt from the Giants, Devontae Adams, Garrett Wilson, George Pickens, and Alec Pierce. So a lot of options there. Trade options for tight end. We don't have any free agency options. We just have Michael Mayer, Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts, all reportedly on the market. All upgrades as starters. And then we have no left tackle stuff.
Kyle Pitts will be.
Right. Well, we do have left tackle stuff. Ronnie Stanley, Alaric Jackson returning, Cam Robinson, Tyrone Smith, Jedrick Wills, which we all thought was incredibly underrated option. And then Colton Miller and Jake Matthews trade options, all starting options. So we're really pumped about that. And then lastly, Will Hernandez and Coleman Shelton as backup swing guards. So exciting options. Now we jump to our first defensive position, which is nose tackle. Actually, we have nose tackle and defensive end. We're kind of hit them both at the same time because they're just considered interior D linemen. We're going to hit both in the same grouping here. So let's start with looking at, actually, let's see what PFF has to say about interior defenders. We have Osa from the Cowboys, Milton Williams, Levi Onwuzurike from the Lions, BJ Hill, Calais Campbell, Jerron Reed, Poona Ford, Tershawn Wharton, Taylor Tart, DJ Jones. So there's some pretty good options out there.
Yeah, there's a lot of I would say like cheap, good nose tackle options. Would probably just be like what would we say the value would be? Probably like 5 million, I guess, per year.
So
5, 7.
here's what we're looking at realistically. We're looking at either two backups, a backup nose tackle, a backup defensive end, or a starter at nose tackle, or a starter at defensive end. I actually just thought about this, but theoretically, you could put Kobe Durant back at nose tackle and get a 5 tech.
Possibly, yeah.
So if we find a defensive end we've really, really like, then we could go that direction. Now, right off the bat, I'm going to point out Jerron Reed. I think he's an excellent option. Reed was up there amongst...
I think Reed was the best nose tackle in football, at least according to
besides Dexter Lawrence.
like Dexter Lawrence. Yeah. He was... I would say he was probably the most underrated nose tackle. Like, because Dexter Lawrence is a bigger name, and obviously guys like Vita Vea.
Let me see if I can find the... Oh, he doesn't do double teams. It's somebody else. Anyways, Jerron Reed was top 3 amongst interior defenders in double teams. So you're talking about because really when you have the fearsome foursome like we have right now, you really what you want from that nose tackle position is just a guy who can eat blocks. Like
eat blocks and help stop the run.
Yeah,
one of our big issues.
So we really
I think BJ Hill and Jerron Reed. I think they might cost them though.
No, nose tackles are cheap, man. Nose tackles are super cheap.
The market.
You don't think BJ Hill?
Yeah, I mean that's what we're saying though, right? There's a lot of options, and they're going to be cheap. Nose tackles, their market is very poor.
It's really bad. It's worse than inside linebackers. Let's head to this on here. Now we're going to look at defensive tackles, and we're going to have to kind of like, use our brains. But the top nose tackle on the list so far is Dexter at 21. But those guys, he's an all-pro. He's all pro. He's a freak of nature.
So he's an anomaly.
Then you go all the way down. So Vita Vea again, all pro. And then you go down to Dalvin Tomlinson at 14 million. And the guys that were BJ Hill just coming off a 10 million a year contract. So BJ Hill, I think that's kind of where we're sitting. DJ Reader got 11 million per. Oh, we're not even sorted by average. Let's go by average. So we have BJ Hill, DJ Reader, Malik Collins. All 3 of these guys are noses.
DJ Jones.
So. But you're talking about a guy in BJ Hill, for example, right, who is getting older. I think he's 29. He's about to turn. He's gonna turn 30 before next season starts. I think Daquan Jones is a nose as well. So is Harrison Phillips. So you kind of have this like.
He's not gonna get that same contract, especially if he's 30. So
I'm seeing, in my opinion, and Jerron Reed doesn't bring a lot as far as pass rushing goes, and so that lowers the value of a guy like that as well. Like when you're talking about these guys, they add pass rush value as well as being block eaters.
We don't need that because we already have 4 top good to elite pass rushers.
So Jerron Reed, Seahawks. Also, we get to steal the Seahawks, probably their best D lineman. I think his fit score is actually.
That would be awesome.
I'm gonna give away my first
That's
10
10. That's
It's a
10.
10
because he's
because
exactly what we need: run
it
stopper,
fills
block
a
eater.
need. Yeah, exactly. In that automatically it will automatically help Verse, Fisk,
Lorenz.
Kobe, and Byron. Like we don't need we don't need Reed to be a pass rusher. Like you said, all he needs to do is eat blocks, be a run stopper. And there you go. Let our guys tee off on 101. Simple as that.
So then we have BJ Hill. I really
BJ.
Seabass.
SGD
I
is like a
take.
cheap option.
Yeah, I take Seabass.
I'll take CJ. I'm also thinking about taking Calais to be as a cheap option, man. Calais Campbell. He's
It's kind of not a bad option.
Ice Angle's not bad.
By the way, he was good last year. Didn't he have like 3 sacks against us?
He's like 50 years old. He's still.
Is
like,
he retiring? Is he retiring?
He hasn't announced a retirement yet. He had 5 sacks last year.
Damn, he's 38, bro. He's been in the league forever.
5 sacks, 12 tackles for loss, 12 QB hits. Guys, that's crazy. To be honest, that's like,
Man,
for a guy, he's still kicking, man.
I don't. Him being in the league that long, he hasn't really been on that many teams. He's probably been on like 3.
And
3, 4 teams.
he still started half the snaps. And Calais can play nose or 5 tech. So there's a rotation there with him and Kobe, and we can move guys around. I'm 100% on board with Calais Campbell as an option. Who was he with last week? Last year he was with
Miami.
Miami, yeah.
I have him. I'm actually going to put him as a 9 fit because he can play both positions.
Another possible option would be it could be a reunion, and this guy would also be pretty dirt cheap. Greg Gaines,
I would take Greg Gaines.
Greg Gaines is probably one of the most. I'm not exaggerating by this, but one of the most underrated nose tackles of football. I would say this. I feel like he signed with the wrong team.
Now,
the Bucks already had Vita Vea, who was a top 2 nose tackle of football, so he kind of got overshadowed by him.
I agree.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put these guys. Calais and Sebastian's gonna go on the defensive end because he's not really a nose tackle. He's pretty strictly a 5.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
And then Calais goes in both. And it just depends on what we want to do. And then
Gaines.
Yeah, Greg Gaines is a guy I'm always.
Greg Gaines, super cheap.
By the way,
Gaines, when we're talking about super cheap, I'm talking about like 3-4 million super cheap. He's not going to be able to.
Actually, probably 2 million to be honest. I think
could be 2. Yeah,
I think that's what he signs for last year.
His I think it was 2 years ago. His contract
1.5 million.
That's literally nothing.
Really?
He's only
20.
Oh no, 1 year 3.5. It said, they have void years. Yeah, so
that's still nothing,
dude. I take it in a heartbeat. Greg Gaines, and you know what about Gaines is he could be signed as a starter or a backup. I'm actually gonna have him as a starting nose tackle. Sure. I'm gonna have him as a.
He could also be possibly a rotational piece with Tyler Davis, and if we bring back Neville Gallimore.
Yeah, there's Greg Gaines gives you the flexibility of being a starter or depth because Greg can play multiple positions. He can play nose and 5 tech on the D line as well. I think that's what he played mostly with the Bucks because he didn't take snaps from Vita.
Yeah, he played a lot of 5 tech. Yeah.
So great, dude. There's some great options to upgrade that D line.
Like Puna Ford is an option.
Puna Ford is actually a good option.
He from what I remember, he played pretty well for the Chargers. Like he also is one of those underrated nose tackles.
He's similar fit wise to Jerron Reed in that he is mostly just a block eater and a run stopper. Now,
to me, that's all we need really.
And Tyler Davis might be that guy too. There's no shame in sticking with Tyler Davis either.
That's another thing as well. We could just stick with Tyler Davis, and that's completely fine. And just get a depth piece. That's not an issue.
So what do you think about Javon Kinlaw?
Keep Tyler Davis, then pick up Greg Gaines.
Kinlaw is Kinlaw technically a nose?
He's a 5.
He's a 5. I was going to say he's a 5.
I'm pretty sure.
I don't think he's a nose. At least when he was drafted, I know he was drafted in as an end.
Oh, he's sick. He's 320. He's a big boy.
Interesting. I mean, that doesn't specifically.
He's only been in the league 5 years. That's crazy.
Yeah, I think
he's still pretty young.
Yeah, I mean, I'd add him on there as either, to be honest.
It's just depth. That's literally what it is. He's a good depth piece.
He was with the Jets last year. He could be a starter though. He's kind of the same.
He could be a starter, yeah.
Wait, let's see. How much did he get paid? Because I think he got some money actually from the Jets. I think he got like a solid chunk of cash. 7.25. Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking.
That's honestly like
I
it's kind
can't.
of an overpay for him.
Yeah, it kind of is. I'm gonna put him at either spot because I think he does play a little bit of both. Any other guys you guys see here?
He's primarily a 5 tech, so yeah.
Do we
What
do
about
DJ
Levi?
Jones?
I mean, Rams house. You would know more. I
DJ
don't say
Jones, you
I mean,
said?
Ethan,
Joe?
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
Do we do DJ Jones?
oh yeah, I forgot about DJ. Yeah,
I want to see the kind of season DJ Jones had last year. I'm pretty
I
sure.
think he also had a good. There was a lot of these underrated nose tackles that had good years. Like,
Is he a nose?
yeah, he's a nose. He's a nose.
He yeah, he kind of
At least he played nose this year.
he didn't
I'm
do
pretty
much.
sure.
He would be strictly rotational for me, I think.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
He
a
was on
depth
he
piece.
was on a good defense. He played all games. He was okay.
He's just a depth piece. That's what he is.
Yeah, but I think he's gonna cost starter money though, so it's kind of
Yeah, it's like I would say he's like on like the low end of options. What I mean by low end is that like priority wise, I put him lower.
What else we got here?
What about Levi Onwuzurike? I mean, I know you follow the lines more, Ethan. So is he a nose or is he like a 5?
He's a 5, and
Okay.
I'm not a huge fan to be honest. I think he had an okay season.
Would he be a good death piece? You think?
Someone's gonna pay him starter money.
Okay.
He was good enough to get some.
I really
starter
don't know
money.
much about him,
Yeah, I
so
mean,
like I don't know. I have no
he
idea.
he had a good amount of pressures, but he only got 1.5 sacks and 1 tackle for loss. So it's like
Do you think that's probably just a product of like Aleem and like DJ?
I think partly, yeah. I think the Lions walk away. I'm not. That's not a guy I'm super interested in.
What about Morgan Fox? I mean, Morgan Fox is more of a 5 though.
He's old at this point. What
Oh,
about
what's the name? Milton Williams.
That's what
Milton
I
Williams
was.
had a good playoffs.
Milton.
Yeah,
I like
he had a
that.
good playoffs, man.
Didn't
He was pretty
Didn't
good in
he
the playoffs.
crush us a bit?
He
Yeah, he
kind of
did.
did. He low key. I mean, people were talking about it because they were like going crazy about Jalen Carter's like play, but like Milton honestly was arguably Eagles fans will
He
come
was
after
fire,
me,
bro.
but he was arguably like better. I mean, obviously Jalen Carter made that play at the end, but that was more of the O line effing up. To be honest with you,
My issue with
than
Milton
the
is
blocking
because of
assignments.
his playoffs, because of being on the Eagles, he's probably about to get overpaid by someone. That's my main issue.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, most likely.
Let's see, Mar. Who's that?
Did we
Mario
do
Edwards.
Did we do BJ Hill? Yeah.
Yeah,
No.
we did BJ Hill.
Oh, we did. We did. What about Mario Edwards? Wasn't he pretty solid for the Texans?
I think he was, yeah, but I think he is a defensive end. Unless I'm mistaken, I think he's a defensive. Yeah,
Oh, he
he's
is defensive end?
280. He's 280. Yeah, he's.
Okay. I mean, he could. He's probably gonna get paid though.
I think so too.
7, 8 mil?
That's not a guy I'm
Yeah,
super high
yeah.
on. I think that's it for this one. You guys want to? What about
What
trade
about
options?
what about Odigizua? Osa, the Cowboys dude.
Yeah,
I follow them. He's a good player.
he's a 5
He's-
tech, right?
He's a 5 tech, but
The Cow-
he's a good player. But the issue is, like you said, he's gonna get paid.
Yeah,
The
that's
Cowboys fans want him back though. A lot of the fans like
Yeah, I don't think
because
we're. That's not a guy. We don't
he
want to pay
was,
that much for the D line.
He was their best interior D lineman last year. Like he's a really
He
good
was.
runs. He's a good pass
He had-
rusher and run stuffer. Yeah.
Any guys that we would consider trading for. It's a little bit of a hard of a position.
I'll be
to-
honest with you, that's something you would probably have to go roster for roster, but I would say this is not something I would trade for. Like you can easily find a cheap option free agency. It's worth your time, your resources to just go in free agency.
I
It would be a
do-
lot quicker and a lot easier.
I
would say
do
that.
wonder about maybe getting this guy.
DeForest.
Is he still producing?
I'm not sure. I really
the four is just off name. You might have to pay him a little bit.
Oh, he's still producing decently.
So I wonder. I think he's still pretty elite, to be honest. And my wonder is like, we don't get Max Crosby or somebody like that, but maybe we could trade for him. No, they're still pretty deep in his contract. Never mind.
Yeah, I'll
of
be
dead
completely
cap
honest
there.
with you. Like, I think we stick. Like, we already have our elite D linemen. We need to just find a guy who's basically a block eater. It's simple as
Yeah, that's
that.
what I'm
Yeah.
trying to find. I
Because
mean,
we have to remember, right?
wait, here.
We also have
How about this? How about this? Let's see if he's tradable.
we have to remember as well, right? We need to address corner, which is significantly more important, and as well as inside linebacker. Like
Yeah.
like
Hey,
that's a
he's tradable, but I'm not paying that salary unless they eat
no
some
way.
way.
Grady Jarrett.
I mean,
Grady Jarrett's too
He's
old
a
for me to pay that.
I mean Grady
he's
Jarrett's
only
a good
31.
player. He is a good player, but I don't know, I'm not taking on that salary though. That's the thing.
Well, if they eat some of it, but he had a pretty bad year. He's not the same guy he used to be. It looks like.
Oh damn, the last 2 years he's kind of dipped, huh?
Yeah, even tackles for loss.
Honestly the last like I guess in 2022 he was pretty good, but
He's a 5 tech though, and that's kind of. All right, guys, we had a little interruption there. We're back now. Last thing we were discussing was Grady Jarrett. We kind of all agreed he didn't belong on the list as a potential trade option, and then there is no real good trade options for nose tackle that we can see. Our defense. So this is a wrap up of our nose tackle opportunities: Jerron Reed, B.J. Hill, Calais Campbell, Greg Gaines, Poona Ford, Javon Kinlaw, DJ Jones, and Milton Williams, all free agents. And then on the defensive end, we had Calais Campbell, Sebastian Josade, and Javon Kinlaw. So we're going to wrap up the nose tackles, the defensive edge, and then we're going to move on to edges. All we're looking at in edges is basically getting one of the 3 superstars who are currently available on the market.
Scenarios,
yeah, I mean, they're available, and we've done crazier stuff. So we'll put them on there just as possibilities. And then we started up on the inside linebackers. Let's go to our list. So we got Zach Vaughn, we got Bobby Wagner, we got Robert Spillane, Nick Bolton, and Levante David currently. We're looking at other guys like Cody Barton. So let's take a look at Cody Barton real quick and see what we got.
I'll say this: there are 3 different scenarios the Rams could go with linebacker and free agency. The first is get a top end, all pro level guy like Zach Vaughn or Nick Bolton. The other option is to go after like a vet, an experienced vet who's still playing well, like a Bobby Wagner or Levante David. And the third option is to go after an underrated player like a Barden, a Spillane. That would be the cheaper option. Yeah, anyways, the linebacker position is cheap. Anyways, it's one of the most undervalued positions. So yeah.
So Barton does struggle against the pass, and that's currently the weakness of a guy like Omar Speights. I do want to take a look at some other guys like Shaq
I would avoid, by the way, because I know some Rams fans might ask about this because he's been kind of rumored to us. Dre Greenlaw, I would completely avoid Dre Greenlaw.
This is actually the kind of guy that we really could use. This Shaq Thompson from the.
Shaq Thompson is
But look at his injuries, man. The last 2 years, he's only played 6 games.
Shaq Thompson can be used as in that Frankie Louver role where he can play edge and he can play inside. So he can play off ball and inside.
He's good in coverage though. Look at his coverage numbers.
Yeah, he's a good player, but he has been injured, like you said.
Yeah, I don't want to go for another severely injured player.
Speaking of injured dudes.
Oh, go ahead, my fault.
I just want to quickly say because some Rams fans might ask about this because he's been rumored. But speaking of injured dudes, Dre Greenlaw, the reason why I would not suggest him, the dude is coming off of a severe Achilles injury, and it looked like I know that some people say it takes time, but I don't know. I just feel like he lost his burst and his step. He's just not the same guy, and I feel like he's also going to get overpaid. I would say that.
I'm not gonna lie though, that Rams game in the rain, he looked electric, man. When he came in there in those spurts, he looked electric.
The injury, he scares me because I fear that if we overpay him, and then it's just I don't know. I'd rather go in it. I feel like there's other options, but
what about Tyler Dodson?
Tyler Dodson.
Go ahead, Joe.
No, I was about to say, can you check on Sherwood? I wanted to see his coverage stats real quick.
Yeah, let's check on Sherwood.
Yeah.
I think I remember not being a huge fan of Sherwood. Let's see what we got though. Okay. I mean, that's a lot of tackles for loss. Got a couple sacks. His coverage numbers are rough.
Yeah, his covers are awful. Yeah, that's awful.
Okay.
So let's take a look at Dodson. Dodson had 107 tackles last year, 2 sacks. So these are 2 combined years. Forced fumbles, 6 pass deflections, 3 interceptions. So it looks like he got used in totally different ways. You see under Seattle here, he had way more tackles. He had tackles for loss. He had sacks. And then for Miami, he had 3 interceptions and 4 pass deflections.
He didn't. By
So
the way, he only started 12 games. So
77 passer rating allowed for the
yeah,
season, guys. I feel like this
that's
is probably a sneaky good option.
that's by the way, that's
26
elite,
years old.
that's an elite passer rating for a linebacker.
Yeah, ain't talking about a guy who doesn't have a lot of miles under his belt.
That could be a sleeper, man. A sleeper pick.
I like
Like,
Dotson. I've always liked Dotson.
I like that. That he's like in that Spillane category, or just like a sleeper.
Yeah, I
option.
agree. Joe, what do you think about Dotson?
I like Terrell Dawson. I think he'd be a good pickup. He was electric with that Bills defense. The only thing about how old is Tyler Dawson? I said Terrell.
He's only 26.
27, 26.
26.
26,
Okay.
27. Yeah.
Okay.
He's young.
Okay. Yes. So he's young. He's a free agent.
But look at
I
this.
don't know.
I like. Did you see how he has got like he did different jobs for the Seahawks and the Dolphins last year? Like he was obviously a
Yeah,
run
both,
stopping blitzer against with
Yeah.
Seattle, and then he was pure coverage guy in Miami. But look, his passer
Yeah.
rating against was 77 for the season, bro. That's legit.
That's what I was about to say because I know he was good with Buffalo last year, but I don't know why they let him go this year though. I don't know. Why.
They're
I know
dude,
there's
Buffalo's
cap
cap.
strap.
Yeah, their cap situation
They were-
is
yeah.
awful.
Last year they were in cap hell, so they had
I
to
think
let
they
go
were
of a
like
lot of
60
guys.
million over the cap last year.
Yeah.
They had to restructure and move money forward and all kinds of stuff.
They let go of Poyer and Micah Hyde and obviously like Diggs and all those guys.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. I would have figured out a way how to get rid of Von Miller, bro. If you can get out that contract,
that has to
you
be
gotta
one
get
of
out
the
that
worst
contract.
contracts in the NFL. It's an
It's an
awful
awful
contract.
So
Awful contract.
Dotson is a sneaky good
Yep.
option actually. Let's see what we got. Okay. I've
Kaiser White.
always kind of liked Jerome Baker. Remember
Jerome
yeah.
Baker is like that. It's
Jerome
that
Baker, okay.
Jerome Baker kind of in a way it's like that guy that he should be really good. Like what I mean by really good is he should be like a top tier linebacker, but it just seems he just always falls short of that.
he's a coverage guy though too. Look at him.
He is a coverage. He's athletic, by the way. So we're talking about sideline to sideline. He can play sideline to sideline.
That's a guy I would go
Yeah,
for
I agree.
cheap.
He's also going to be cheap because
Rotational guy.
he's all by the Dolphins. He's already been paid his big contract,
No,
so his third
he probably would
contract will
start.
be cheaper.
No, he's
Oh,
a
He was a
starter.
start here, actually.
No, he's a starter.
Yeah, he was
He's a
start here.
starter.
I'm tripping.
He's a
I'm
no.
tripping. He was
All I'm
starter.
saying is that he is a good player. All I'm saying that is that he was a guy that you would think he would be like a top tier, like a Fred Warner or like a Roquan Smith, but he just never reached that. But he's still a good player though, for sure.
What you said,
Hey,
Kazir
yeah.
White?
Look,
What's that?
I was just about to say that. Kaiser White.
yeah.
I was just about to say
I was
that.
mentioning him before Jerome Baker. Kaiser White, I've always liked him. I always felt like he's just
Am I
been on
crazy?
bad teams. I
KY.
just-
KY.
KY, yeah. I always felt like he's just been overshadowed.
Is it Kazir or Kaiser?
Kaiser.
Kaiser.
Kaiser or
Oh, I
Kaiser,
don't-
I'm not sure.
100,
Oh man, he was balling.
He had a good year, man.
but he's a run stopper. I'm pretty sure. Oh, hold on.
No, wait.
That's not bad at all, guys.
He's also 28, so he's not like super old.
He'll be 29 in a
Hey man,
month, but
hey man.
I like that one.
This is all I'll say. There's a lot of options, and that's the good thing.
Bro, I'm not gonna lie. I don't want to hear. We shouldn't have any excuses
No,
about not
I don't.
not touching the
I'm
linebacker.
gonna say this
position.
right now. I will grill the front office if next season we do not. If we have Troy Reader and Roosevelt next year.
All right, you guys
As-
want to hear a legit breakdown of the monies? Zach Bond's probably 14 to 17 million a season.
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Levante 5 to 6. Bobby
Mhm.
probably 7 to 9. Nick Bolton probably 12 to 14. Robert
Mhm.
Spillane, I'm getting 6 to 8. Dotson, I'm talking about 5 to 7. Actually, no, Spillane, Dotson, Jerome Baker, Kazir White 4 to 6. You got to remember, like, let me show you guys what the history of this looks like, because inside linebackers are great. I know those numbers probably sound outlandish to some of you guys, but take a look at the inside linebacker position, and I'm going to give you guys some examples of the last couple of years of what guys are getting paid. It's actually crazy. Now, Bond, I don't think Bond's going to get 18 to 20. I just don't. I think he's going to come in at 4th, probably around 16, 17 million a season.
Mm-hmm.
But look at this. You're talking about all these guys are better than any of the guys listed.
Besides the top 3 guys that are paid, all the other contracts are very reasonable.
Look at
Like,
Bobby.
they're not
Bobby
expensive.
Bobby got 6.5 last year.
So yeah,
Dude,
it would
Josie
probably be
Jewell,
similar. Yeah.
Josie Jewell's a great linebacker. He got $6 million a season.
Bobby
Singleton got $6 million a season.
Bobby Wagner and David will
By the
probably be
way,
around the
Kazir-
5-6 million range. Yeah.
Kazir just came off a 2-year, $10 million contract. Bro, I'm paying Kazir $5 million, but I would give Kazir a 3-year, $15 million contract. Then our inside linebackers are done.
Oh, for sure. Look at Dotson, $4 million on
Dude,
a 1-year deal.
we got options. So that's the thing is, but so to your point earlier about the tiers that we have to work with, I'm probably gonna go with a Kazir White or a Tyler Dotson at the
I
4 to
agree.
5 million
I
range.
agree. It's either that or I would say it's the Bobby or Levante David route, that experienced vet on a cheaper deal. But I'll probably go with the underrated tier because those guys are younger and you would get longer use
Mhm.
out of them.
There's 3
Yeah.
more guys I want to look
Mhm.
at real quick. Actually,
What about Divine Diablo?
yeah. So I want to look at Diablo. I want
He's
to.
like the hybrid type converter
He's-
from safety. They say the Mark Barron.
So he's been decent. I mean, the numbers aren't great. I think he's bad.
Let's
in
see the
coverage.
coverage.
Really bad in
Oh,
coverage.
that's
that's a
bad.
no go.
Never mind.
I trying to remember what he had. One big flaw. I want to look at Devondre Campbell. I think I've always
Oh,
liked
I just-
Devondre Campbell.
Oh, there's a
Hey,
name that I
listen.
just saw that
was
just
just about to
popped
say
out to
that.
me. That is very underrated.
The
After
fan base
showing
would be
him,
mad.
yeah.
Campbell's
The fan
flaw,
base would
bro.
be mad. The fan base would be really mad if Devondre ended up around. Though
Oh, by
he's
the
still
way,
he's still got a little bit of juice
if you
left.
look at Owen Burks for the Eagles,
Oren Burks. Okay.
Owen Burks, yeah, not Owen, Oren. That guy is severely underrated. I don't think he got a lot of playing time, but when he did, I know he doesn't have a lot of playing time, but he's an underrated player. I
He's
wouldn't
solid in
personally.
coverage.
I wouldn't. He would be like a lesser option, but if
Problem
they
is
really,
he's already so old for a guy who's
yeah,
just a
I mean,
safety.
if they really don't want to invest into the linebacker position, he would be like literally a $2 million deal. He'll literally be nothing.
I'll tell you a guy that I would be okay with, and that's Derek Barnes. He's been a Lion his whole career. He has very limited playing time. He did have a season-ending injury last year.
He's only 25.
He's very young. I think he was drafted in the 4th round. He is solid. He's decent in coverage. He's kind of like a jack of all trades, master of none guy. I actually find him to be a pretty decent player. I would be okay if we gave him like 3 to 4 million a season. As like, if we don't want to invest a lot into the inside linebacker position, this is a guy that you can get young, athletic, look 6 foot 240, big linebacker, but he's got the speed to cover. This is a guy that I would be pretty okay with being a Ram as
That's the
a
thing, right?
very cheap option.
That's the thing. The Rams don't have to invest a lot into the linebacker
Yeah.
position because of how weak the market is.
All right, what about trade options? Like, let's say we want to go buck wild.
Trade. This
you
would
wanna go
be.
wild?
This would be. I would say.
Jermaine Pratt.
This would be very. I would say more unrealistic.
Here's
but-
one. Bobby Okereke.
Possibly.
Uncle
I
Rick,
like
Uncle Rick Ray. Yeah.
he's a good player.
Okay, so look at him though. I mean, he's kind of beyond a good player. He's a beast. He was hurt, but look at the year before. 10 pass deflections, 2 interceptions. That's 12 combined for an inside
10
linebacker.
10 pass deflection.
That's elite.
Is impressive.
And
Yeah, that's
150
really
tackles. Like, dude, this is Bobby Wagner
how
type
is he?
numbers.
How is he not Pro Bowler? Like all Pro.
Look
I
at
don't
it.
know, I
Look
guess-
at he's good in coverage.
Because you got Patrick Queen. You got
I guess so, but yeah.
But let's see
what's the name from
is he tradable? Let's see what his contract looks like.
Zaire Franklin, I guess.
Oh,
yeah.
he's tradable. He's tradable, and you know what? We would get him for
That contract isn't crazy either.
no, because remember the signing and the restructure stays with the
Yeah.
team. And let's see, the 2025 roster bonus hasn't been paid out yet, so we could get him for $8 million the next 2 seasons. Honestly, he's worth $8 million. He's a top 10 inside linebacker.
So basically, this would be the route if we can't get a Zach Bond or Nick Bolton, and we really desperately want a top tier linebacker. Okereke would be the route. He is a top 10 linebacker.
All 3 of us have pronounced his name
Yeah.
differently. I don't know who's right.
Bobby Okereke. I've heard it. Okereke.
said- I've heard
That's
of
what I've heard.
Okarike.
Okarike? Okay.
Okarike.
Whatever.
Okarike.
I don't know.
I said Okereke,
He
so we're
he's a
all
he's
over
a
the place.
he's a beast at the end of the day.
Dude,
Um,
I am a huge fan of his. So I'm just looking like going down
Zaire?
here. Oh.
Zaire. I like Zaire.
Zaire.
Oh,
I
I
like
think
Zaire.
that's
Yeah.
not gonna happen. I don't think.
You couldn't. I don't know.
Hey, man,
The Colts are
that
going through
podcast,
some rough times, man. They're kind of
you
in
know,
this
like
weird position of
Oh, I
do
like
they
him. I
sneak-
just don't think there's any way that this is probably one of their best players on their team right now.
You have to think
only,
about it, right?
only,
They're going through a position in time where they could move on from Anthony Richardson, or they could trade other guys who are older, like
Oh yeah, no, that's
example.
not gonna happen. It's the cap situation's not.
Okay.
Actually, it's not that bad.
no, the
I
only
think
reason I
it's
say that,
possible.
only reason I
they
say
would go
that
under. They would
is
go under.
because only reason I say that is because they've been having issues. Well, Pat McAfee did, and I know Pat McAfee talks to a lot of people in their front office, and he's been complaining about the podcast that he's on,
Yeah.
and he doesn't think Zaire has been all the way locked in, and he thinks that stuff Zaire do is wearing off on all the other players. So
Interesting.
now
Yeah,
they
but
have, I
the
know it
franchise
happened,
hates Pat
but
McAfee now, so I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I feel
oh, you
like
think so?
that is complete
Yeah,
BS.
no, the
Zaire
franchise is
Franklin,
totally destined
in-
to this house.
bro, Zaire Franklin's an all-pro linebacker. That is BS.
Oh,
I'm
here
not
I got a
agreeing with
guy.
it.
I got a guy. CJ Mosley, maybe. Let's see. What's
And
he
by the
doing.
way, we have to remember who's the owner and the GM for the Colts. They're both like
Crazy.
we know how they are. They're both crazy.
Okay, so CJ's a bit older, but I think
I
he
don't know about
he
CJ,
got
just the
hurt.
injury. It's
got hurt.
he just old and the
2023 was a
injuries.
good season for him, though, guys.
Here's the thing.
Really
Here's
good
the
season.
thing about him, right? CJ Mosley is a good player, but he's old, and the injury concerns scare me. That's the thing.
So then we got
Yeah.
Jermaine Pratt, right?
Jermaine Pratt's like that. He's like a worser version of CJ Mosley.
What about Logan Wilson?
Logan Wilson is amazing in coverage. Well, he
I
was.
don't know if they would
for a
trade him
while.
though. Logan Wilson is I don't know if they would trade him. The Bengals.
They probably, yeah. I'm 100% on Jermaine Pratt. I loved him coming out of the draft. He was one of my
Listen,
draft.
I love
purchases.
Jermaine. I like
Same.
Jermaine Pratt a lot.
Jermaine Pratty.
I was like, what is he talking about? Okay, and then
Man, they're options, bro. Like, I'll be honest with you, they're.
There's so many.
I don't want to hear an
didn't-
excuse that
didn't
the
Josh
Rams
decide to
don't
end the
value
contract?
the linebacker position because there's literally 3 different scenarios, or technically 4 different avenues. 3 different in free agency and then in the draft, or in
Let me get
trades.
this dude's name.
Yeah.
You can go the
I wanna
cheap
see the-
option.
he
You can
got
go
hurt, I know,
the
but-
depth option, or you can go the superstar option. Like, come on, man.
Bro, Jock is a superstar.
Who's this?
Jock.
He's a monster, bro.
Oh, Ja.
He's a monster.
Oh,
He's a
man,
he's a
like,
monster, bro.
listen, I'll be honest with you. If he didn't tear his ACL, he probably would have been a Ram.
Oh, they just
I'm not gonna
extended
lie.
it. Did they just extend? Oh no, he's still in his rookie contract.
I'm not gonna lie. I don't care about that. No, they did extend him. They did.
Oh,
They
yeah,
extended
he's
him.
got a
They
bunch of
extended him
cash.
last year. They extended.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
like there's no way they trade him at this point. Look how much.
Jock
60
is
million
a
cap. There's no way.
Jock is a top 10 linebacker in football. They're not going to trade him.
Was there? Did the Browns have another inside linebacker that's any good?
Do they have that one dude Walker? I think.
Oh, they have Bush starting. Oh no, they have Diabati, Muhammad Diabati. But we liked him a lot in the draft.
Oh, this
From
dude.
Utah, the guy from Utah last year. Remember?
Oh
Oh,
yeah, I
Utah,
remember him.
yeah.
Yeah, I remember this dude. I remember him.
Let's see.
Here's the thing, though, right? He's a young player, so would they?
No, this is
barely-
look at his coverage stats. It's good.
Hey man.
Remember, he was
All it
athletic.
takes-
We liked him a lot.
All it takes
know
is a
what?
phone call.
Let's do it. Although
All it takes is a phone call, man.
I'm gonna need some help.
He's not going to be expensive. He'll probably be like a 6th-round pick.
That's what I'm saying, right? Sometimes you got to get creative with this stuff, man.
Yep. Again, I know I've kind of said this like 50 times. I do not want to hear the excuse from Les Snead and McVay that the Rams do not value the linebacker positions and they have not addressed it.
You
because
have
there's
to.
a lot of different avenues we can address it. The cheaper option, the
Yeah.
expensive. Like, if you don't want to
Oh.
pay money, we can literally pay $3-4 million for guys like Dotson, guys like Spillane, for example, like Jerome Baker, who are good players.
Did you have a guy
There's
you were looking at there, Joe?
No, I was thinking about the Jaguars. What's my guy name on the Jaguars?
Aluakan?
Yeah.
Yeah. A little
Luke
I
is
con-
was
also a
thinking
good
about
player.
him.
Yeah. Devin Lloyd.
I'm not a fan of Lloyd, to be honest.
I'm
Devin
only
Lloyd,
saying
okay.
it because he's young, but
I like a Lilkin.
Let's
He's a good.
let's see.
Lucan's a good player.
Let's see how he did. Yeah, I mean he's been
Bro,
good.
those tackle numbers are crazy.
He's good in
He's all
coverage
over.
too.
128 solo
He's
tackles is
29.
absurd.
Hey Ethan, I want you to go down a little bit and look at the state
He's from
born.
St. Louis, bro. I didn't
Well,
know
yeah,
that.
come on, baby,
Oh,
come
he's
on,
from
baby.
St. Louis.
Wait,
All right,
here.
but
Yes,
he's a
sir.
good player though, right? He's
Yes,
not like
sir.
Kyron Williams.
Wait, where you see? Oh, John Burrows. Huh.
No, Yep.
Yeah,
With JB, baby.
more insane. Okay, let's see. Let's add him on here. Jags. 8.5 starter. Yeah, there's so many
Oh,
options.
look at all these
Realistically,
options. Oh my
so
goodness.
This
many
this
options.
actually this spot this might be even more options than I'm trying to remember what was the other position. It was like crazy options. What was it again?
Corner,
Receiver. This might
Receiver.
even be
Yeah.
receiver, receiver.
this might even be more options than
Oh,
receiver
oh, oh.
because of mainly because of the
Hey,
versatility of the options.
I got two more
Yeah.
guys right off the bat here. I got Demario Davis.
Oh,
Who's
Demario, bro.
Demario's a monster.
Yeah, weren't didn't we hear stuff about the Saints moving on from him?
Because
He's still
they're in a cap hell
They're in
situation.
cap hell.
Bro,
Yeah,
look at
they're in
this.
cap hell.
Coverage skills are good. He's a
He's-
great run. Dude,
no, Demario
he's
is
all
a
pro.
phenomenal player.
Actually,
It's crazy.
this might be my new favorite option.
Honestly, Demario, like even though he's an all pro, he is one of the more underrated, like top tier.
Oh,
linebackers.
hells yeah, bro.
He's not really talked about. Like he's not. It's usually like Fred and Bobby.
Yeah,
and,
yeah.
Roquan. He's not really talked about.
Hey,
yeah.
Joe, Demario Davis for $6.5 million, a 6th-round pick. No
I'd do it,
question
bro.
asked.
Easily. That's literally easily, bro.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we got
This
Demario
last
Davis.
year-
Oh, but what? I thought Willie Gay was a free agent.
I'm not sure.
I'll take Willie Gay too. Willie Gay's.
I remember last year I wanted Willie Gay as an
Yeah,
option.
wait, Willie Gay's a free agent. I'm adding him at the end of this list.
Willie Gay was a guy that I wanted badly last year because he was a cheap, like underrated linebacker for the Chiefs.
Totally agree. Saints. And then Demario Davis. We're out of space.
There's just so many options, man. Like honestly, we could end here, or if you want to look at more options, but
I just have a couple more. And Panthers, I really wanted to look at Josie Jewell. I thought he had a pretty good year last year. He got hurt, but look at this. Look at this guy. In 12 games, 97 tackles, 7 tackles for loss, 3.5 sacks, 7 pass and interception. Coverage wise, this guy's a beast. Look at this, Joe. This guy is a monster in coverage. And yeah, I mean, he's getting tackles for loss, sacks. He's doing the whole 9 yards. I'm definitely taking a shot at Josie Jewell.
I thought we said Josie Jewell already.
No.
I mentioned him. I mentioned him as a guy who signed
okay.
last year.
Josie Jewell and like also Willie Gay were guys who we wanted last year.
Yes, they were.
He also would be like a 6th-round pick. He's not
Totally. And that's it. That's it. But look, that dude, there's options on options on options.
Man, for the millionth time, I will say it again. If I know because of what's his face watched our videos, our DC. I'm forgetting his name for some reason. But, Shula. He could show this to Les. He was a linebackers coach, so he's relevant. So listen, man, there's no excuse. There's the cheap option. There's the expensive option for the all pro. There's the vet option, and there's the tradable option as well. There's no excuse. As simple as that. Like we should not. Troy Reader and Rosewood should not be the starting linebackers alongside Spates next year. There's no excuse.
No way.
Rosewood can't. I legitimately. I will call out the front office like on the podcast if they do that because there is no excuse. They can't say that. Oh, we don't want to invest too much into the linebacker position. Well, there you go. $3-4 million options are out there, man.
Totally.
Yeah.
There's a lot of options for all this stuff. So All right, let's get moving
We got
to
what we got
This
next?
is
Corner.
this is the one I've been. This is probably the most important position for us to address on defense.
corner.
Yep.
Plenty of
Yes,
options
sir.
at inside linebacker time to look at cornerback. Now, this is the problem with cornerback is it is not great on the free agent side.
This feels like more of a first round pick solution, if we're being honest.
That's
True.
what I would do.
But let's
Yeah.
put our options out. Let's just do this one, fairly quick here. We have
Byron Murphy for sure is the
Byron.
top guy.
Murphy from the Vikings. Good score, probably a 9 starter. Then we have
Carlton Davis.
Carlton Davis.
Byron Murphy gonna get paid. Byron Murphy gonna get paid too
I
much.
know.
Man. I can't do that.
It's just options, but yeah.
Yeah, Carlton Davis,
Charvarius
Charvarius
Ward.
Ward.
Yeah.
Jets.
I'll
Ooh,
be
my
honest
goodness.
with you, on my list that
I
I
love
put,
Charvarius.
I'm not paying any of these guys.
because here's the thing, right? On my list, I only put my list is cornerback 1 starters. So you have to be a CB1. So I only had these 3 guys. I didn't put anyone else. So my other option was just drafting a guy, and that's a preferable option because I feel like all those 3 guys possibly will get overpaid, especially Charvarius and Byron. Charvarius
What
and
about-
Byron are probably getting overpaid.
Paulson had a crazy season last season.
He's not a number 1 though.
Yeah, but we
that's
might not
the-
be able to get a number 1. You might have to settle for 2 number 2s, and
Yeah.
Unless I'd rather just address it in the
Which is-
draft though.
Which
That's
is
the thing.
fine.
but you can't solely address it in the draft. Look, Paulson's had back-to-back dominant years, to be honest. He just got
He was
hurt
injured
year.
last year.
Yeah, but he's a
Yeah.
beast, and he's only 25. Actually, I kind of like this option a lot. He's actually pretty darn good.
I like Adebo. Like I was saying,
Look at this.
one of the Rams
18.
guys made the same
I
thing.
mean, we could
did.
we could go the scenario where, like we said, we go get that star linebacker, get like a good nose tackle, and just get like 2 number 2s at corner. Like if you have a great front 7, you don't have to invest heavily into the secondary.
Or if you get the CB1 in the draft, I don't think that doesn't take you out of getting Adebo. I
I mean,
don't think.
basically,
Yeah, I don't
what
think
we
so either.
need-
Carlton Davis.
What
Yeah.
we need is we just need guys who do their job. It's
Yeah.
simple as that. If you do your job, like it's not even about getting like a superstar like a Jalen Ramsey or like a Sauce Gardner. It's just about getting a guy who does their job. Paulson Adebo does his
The
job.
issue is you can't really you can't just draft a guy at the bottom of the first round and be like, oh yeah, this is our number 1 no matter what. That's not a good
no,
plan.
that's not. And we have to remember, right? As a rookie, corner is typically the position where a lot of rookies struggle the
Takes
most
time.
because it
Yeah,
is arguably
yeah.
the hardest position in football. So it does take time. So we have to be patient with that.
Mhm. Mhm.
So we could, if we do like draft a corner, we could get a guy like a Debo, and
Yeah,
plug
no,
him into that
that's what I'm
role,
talking
yeah.
about. Because honestly, we
Actually,
can cut
I
D
get what you're
Will.
saying.
We
I
cut
get
D
what
Will
you're
up this
saying
year.
now. I was just thinking you were saying as like purely as a CB1, but I get what you're saying though.
Because really, the Rams don't have our scheme doesn't really deploy
Yeah,
a
I feel-
CB1 in a natural kind of sense. But
Especially if we're.
but by the way,
heavily investing
I'm
in
not
the front
convinced
seven,
that
yeah.
Adebo can't be a number 1. You're talking about a guy who's 25, 6'1", 190 pounds. He's athletic, and look at this here: 18 pass deflections, 4. That's 22 combined pass deflections and interceptions. He held people to a 62 pass. I mean, that's like all pro level play right there, guys. That's
And even
all pro
this
level.
year-
And he doesn't even miss tackles the last 2 years.
This year he 71 passer rating. I mean,
Bro, that's all. The last 2 years he's been all pro quality, like no
only
joke.
allowed 2 touchdowns the last 2 years.
So like, look, you're talking about like who's
he might
Look,
also
Think about
he-
Sauce, right? Like all pro guy. He held people to 80 passer rating.
He probably Paulson would probably also be cheap because he was injured this past year.
That's what I'm
so I don't-
saying.
I
I
don't
think
expect him to be.
I think
yeah.
we could get
I
a
get-
deal.
I get
with
what you're-
Paulson.
I get what you're saying now because I thought you were saying purely as a CB1, but like based
no,
off
no.
like how if the Rams, because the way we're building our roster, especially our defense, is through the front 7, and if we go get a linebacker and a nose, we can get a guy like a Debo, and even then we can still draft a CB1, and our defense is set, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
'Cause you
yeah,
have
that's what I'm saying.
Totally.
Yeah,
If you
Kobe,
wanna spread- if you-
Kobe at the slot. We have the 2 cams at safety. Like
Yeah,
we're
if you want to put the money, if you want to put a lot of money at your linebacker spot, you can go cheap options at nose tackle, draft your CB1, and pick up a Debo, and then spend money at
Absolutely.
linebacker.
Or
you can do a lot of things.
hey, just
You know what?
don't pay a
You know
nose
what?
tackle. Let Tyler Davis
Hey,
start.
I'm liking the Paulson option. I'm liking
I
this.
am really liking the Paulson
It-
option, to be
it's a
honest.
cheap option. It's an underrated option, and then on top of that, we can go get our CB1 as well, and then invest in other positions.
Like, so you
as well.
compare him to DJ Reed, for example, who I think
DJ Reed
personally is overrated.
completely avoid.
Yeah, I wouldn't touch him with. He's okay. He's a decent guy, but Sauce
He's gonna
Gardner
get
shadows. He shadows.
He's gonna get paid in that $20 million range.
Now,
The only thing I will say, Paulson Debo not gonna be that cheap though. He's gonna be cheaper than a lot of guys, but he's not gonna.
I'll pay him
$30.
18 million bucks.
Yeah, he's good, bro.
He's a good
Byron
player,
Murphy
though, but-
was a stud last year.
I think when we were saying cheap is that in relative to guys like Byron Murphy,
Sure.
and like Javarius,
Yeah.
I would say that.
But
Yeah.
Byron is good, but my issue with Byron is
30 million per year, good.
he's gonna be expensive. But you gotta remember, he's a 1 year wonder. He's only been good 1 year in his whole career. That's it.
That is true.
He's been pretty mediocre otherwise. That's the reason why I'm not going to pay him $30 million a season. Paulson has been good multiple years. He's also going to be substantially cheaper. Obviously,
Charvarius, I'm not exactly sure, but I'm pretty sure he had a down year.
yeah,
We
I
can confirm
believe
that.
He was hurt, but see, look,
was hurt.
he had 28 combined the year before, and then look at the difference.
Oh
here.
yeah, he had a down year.
So I would take Charvarius as well. I think because of the injury and the down year, he's going to be quite a bit cheaper unless people are really focused on his All-Pro year last year.
I feel like he's gonna get overpaid because of that. He might get like the 20 to 25 million range.
Is there anyone else on here?
Definitely.
Adoree,
Jonathan Jones. He's kind
Shaq
of watched a little bit,
Griffin.
but Nate Hobbs. I like Nate Hobbs. Man.
He's isn't he a Raider?
Yeah, he's
Yeah.
a Raider.
I like Nate Hobbs, bro.
He's been hurt for the last 3 years, man.
Yeah,
He's
that's
solid,
why
but
I
he's
like
been hurt. I think he's a nickel though, and Kobe plays the nickel for us, doesn't he?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
kind of just a. What about Asante Samuel
what
Jr.?
What about Shaq Griffin?
I'll take a look at him in a second. Let me see. Asante Samuel's hurt, but Asante's been decent, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's been decent. He kind of got his name kind of like got put more in the lower tier because he's been hurt. He would be an option.
Joe, any thoughts on Asante Samuel?
Asante Samuel Jr. I think he's still a project. I'm not
Sheesh,
gonna lie.
I'd take senior. How are you going to be a project when your dad was a freaking Hall of Fame level corner?
Yeah, he had some nice moments, some nice. He was good his first season, but I think he's still in that project range. I would take a chance on him though, because he has the intangibles. He's a ball hawk. He's a playmaker like his dad. He has intangibles. I probably would do it.
Shaquille Griffin, that you're talking about? He's a bit older.
Yeah. I just want to see like what his
Yes.
Shaquille was good. Shaquille was good to Vikings.
I just want to
Yeah,
see
he
what
was
his
solid.
coverage ratings are. Oh,
He's been good.
he's been pretty
He was
good.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, he was good to Vikings.
I just
That's a
don't.
nice move. Too. That's a cheaper move.
Older.
It's a cheaper. He's just a cheaper option though. He's not a long term. It's kind of like I'm not saying it's kind of like the D Will situation 2.0. That's like what it is.
Who was he with last season?
A Seahawks.
Minnesota.
No, Minnesota. Never mind.
Minnesota. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm trying to think. Who else?
That's pretty much all I got.
What about we saw
What about Rasul Douglas?
I think Jonathan Jones might actually be a low key decent.
Jonathan Jones is an
that's what-
underrated
yeah.
player.
That's what I
Yeah.
said earlier. Jonathan Jones, maybe.
I
He's
don't-
he's sort of washed up a little bit, but he's still decent.
31.
Oh, he's 31.
Actually, I thought he was pretty.
I don't know. I thought he was like 27,
Oh,
28.
dang, he got
No.
whooped up on last season.
Yeah, no. I
Sorta
thought he
like
was like
that.
27, 28. Yeah.
All right. Trade market. What do we got trade market wise?
Trade market.
What's the name from
I'll tell
Jair
you.
Alexander?
I got a guy right here.
Jalen Ramsey. There we go. Bring back the boy.
Would that be crazy or what,
Yeah.
bro?
That'd be a
No,
fun
it's
story,
not.
bro.
It's not
That'd be a
crazy
good
because
story.
remember, I'm pretty sure the Dolphins are not in a great cap situation.
No,
and
they're not.
didn't they talk about potentially
Yes,
moving on
there's
from him as
been-
well?
there's been
Oh,
talk
Only thing
about
about it, his contract is crazy. Though.
But let's take a look at it for real. He even had a good year. Let's take a look at Jalen's contract.
Oh, look at, by the way, go down. I just want to prove something to Rams fans right here and to the front office that they were wrong about him. Look at 2023. Look at his coverage rating.
Yeah, he's a dumb.
51, bro, is absurd.
One of the best in the league.
Oh, I
That-
don't think the Rams got. I don't think the Rams got rid of him because of talent, though. I think it was because the money he was demanding, his contract.
Oh, they
I
just
think that's the
extended
reason
this
why
dude. He is.
Oh, they extended him.
He is
Oh
That's
cooked.
too
yeah,
much money,
I forgot they did that, man.
That's too much money, bro. I
There,
can't
but
do
there
it.
has been talks about trading, and I wonder if they would eat some of this cap. I mean,
I don't know. I feel like the extension kind of puts that.
49 is crazy, bro. That's not gonna happen.
It's I forgot he got extended. The extension kind of puts it dead out of the water. I wouldn't do it then.
Jair.
Jair.
Let's see how
I'll say this though, hasn't Jair been like hurt the last couple of
He's
years?
been hurt. Yeah, he's sort of injury prone.
but that
when he's on the
lowers
field, he
his-
balls.
But that lowers his value, right? He's
It does
still
lower the
down there.
value,
Yeah.
but it is the concern though, because look at he's he's played like the last 4 years. He's played like probably like 50% of his snaps.
I'm still trading for Jair. I ain't gonna lie to you.
No, I'll trade for him. I'm just saying there is that risk because of the injury history. But
Yeah,
Then also-
when he's on the field, when he's on the field, like I'm just saying you have to factor that. But when he's on the field, he's a beast. He's one of the best
It's
in the league.
it's also been rumors with Marlon Humphrey too.
Really
Yeah, I've seen some rumors about Marlon Humphrey.
interesting. Why would they move on from him?
He's getting older.
I have no idea.
Is he
He's
that
getting
old?
older.
28.
They're pretty deep. They're
28.
pretty deep in the secondary right now.
They did
I doubt
draft.
they do. I doubt they do it, but I saw some rumors when I was going through Ravens.
They did
When I was
draft.
Ravens
What's
fan,
his
Ravens
name
player.
again? From Clemson.
That's right. They drafted Wiggins.
Wiggins. Yeah, they drafted Wiggins. I think he was decent for them as well.
Is he tradable? Let's take a look at his contract real quick, and we'll. He's definitely tradable. He has 2 years left.
Oh, yeah, he's tradable.
Yeah,
It's
man.
possible.
Hold on. Let's see. The 2025 roster bonus is due on the 5th league day of the year. So we would probably pay him 18 million. I'd pay Marlon Humphrey 18 million. I ain't gonna lie to you. I would not
Easily.
have any qualms with that.
And the trade wouldn't be crazy. It'd probably be like a 3rd round pick, 4th.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I'm
Yeah, probably something like that.
I'm down for that. Anyone else you guys can think of off the top of your head?
There's been
Pull
rumors
up the
about.
teams.
No,
quickly.
just just looking at teams and who you might.
Denzel Ward, is he anyone that, because of the Browns could be in a selling
Oh, I
spree?
forgot about this.
Yeah,
Denzel,
let's
he's
see if
possibly-
he's tradable. He just signed a new contract somewhat recently. I think
he did sign a crazy deal.
Oh yeah, no, he's
No, yeah, that's not
42
possible.
million.
That's a lot.
yeah.
No, sir.
Let's go to the NFC.
No, I don't see any. I don't really.
I don't see. I can't. I don't see.
Can we
anyone
trade
else
our
that's
first round pick for
possible.
Cooper DeJean?
Well, we could.
I would too.
Well, it was possible we could have traded up after we picked Fisk.
Can you imagine we
I was
came away
actually-
with Verse, Fisk,
During-
and DeJean?
By the way, for the fans, I was after the Fisk. I was so happy after we picked Fisk. I was like, please now, the perfect scenario would be Rams trade your 3rd and your 2nd, go up and get DeJean because he's right there. And I was sad when the Eagles.
Yeah,
got him,
we
'cause
were.
I
stoked about
knew
that.
as soon as the Eagles got him, like, well, that's really the perfect place for him to go. He's gonna be amazing. And look, he was a defensive player, defensive rookie of the year candidate. Like, it sucks, but it is what it is.
So let's take a look at 2 more teams here that we that have corners we could trade for. J.C. Horn.
The Panthers.
You guys want to take a look at J.C. Horn real quick?
Didn't J.C. Horn have like a pretty good year?
I think he did have a really good year, actually.
Yeah.
He had a
he
good
was a Pro
comeback
Bowler.
year.
He was a Pro
He had a
Bowler.
good comeback year.
Yeah, J.C. Horn was solid. I think. Did they extend him? They didn't extend him. Is he a free agent?
No. I don't think they extended
Oh
him.
no, he's on his 5th year option, I guess. Then let's take a look.
He's definitely tradable then.
Well, the 5th year option is guaranteed, but to who? Yeah.
Oh, they
Yeah.
they
Oh,
did take
really?
the option.
I'll pay 12 million for
Oh.
J.C. Horn. To be honest, he's worth 12
He's
million bucks.
Yeah, I mean, last year he broke out. He was a Pro Bowl.
Isn't
level
he still
player.
really young too?
He's like 25.
26.
so yeah.
He's 26 years old.
Yeah.
So JC's a
Yeah.
great option, and then Atlanta. I mean, I guess it depends on how badly they think they're competing.
I don't think they
Yeah,
trade AJ Terrell. There's no way.
Don't you
I doubt it.
dare crap on my dreams. I love AJ Terrell. He's one of my
I
favorites.
love him as well. He's a great player.
just
But
resigned.
yeah, look at that. Look at that. There's no
Yeah.
way.
Okay.
They're not touching. They're not touching.
I think
him.
that's it then. That's all the people. So this is our finalized quarterback list for the first starter in free agency and trade. It's actually a pretty solid list, to be honest.
It's actually better than I thought. I think it's mainly due to the trade options. But yeah.
Well, I like Javarius Ward and Paulson Adebo as cheaper options on the.
No, I'm saying like
list.
if we're talking about like overall as
Oh,
like
yeah,
number one corners, because like those four guys are like great players. We have to remember that.
So now we're talking about stars
Um,
or safeties because we could
So-
move Cam Curl into the star
so-
position.
what I did for this is I actually made a list for strong safety starters, and I would say preferably to move Curl in the star because that's his more natural position. He would thrive there. I would say we do that and go out and get a safety starter.
Okay, so then
If we go that route, I mean that's just my opinion. I mean, Joe, what do you think?
Yeah. If you're gonna move Cam Curl into the star, you go get a safety. I would probably do that. Javon Holland is a good option. You put him at safety.
Javon Holland's an option.
Justin Reed, of course, but he's gonna cost though.
no safeties are cheap though.
Justin Reed is also an option. He is one of the better safeties.
So
of
this is going to be
football.
star /
that's
safety.
Reed.
Yeah.
Starter.
All
Who's I want to put Jeremy Chin in
guess
here. I like Jeremy Chin as a
Jeremy
safety.
Chin. I'll be honest with you, man. I've always liked Jeremy Chin. I just feel like he's never reached his potential. Like he's a physical beast. Like
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
Javon Holland.
is Holland going to be expensive? I try to make my mind about Holland.
have you did you
Where is
wasn't
he? He's not on the list. Oh,
was,
why?
you
did
know
they
that
go
you know that drama that happened with the Dolphins about their players being soft? Wasn't Holland one of those guys that was mentioned?
Yeah, well, that's
His
he
nickname.
had a,
Wait,
he had a
hold
problem
up.
with Vic Fangio.
Wait, hold up. Go up a second to his. Look at his
Snowman?
nickname. Snowman. That's hilarious.
I want to see what PFF says about this. We've been about safeties. Javon Holland's their number one, and then
Interesting.
Hufanga,
Hufanga.
Bynum, Harrison Smith, but he's actually no. Hold
He's
on,
old.
we could use a little age in the secondary. To be fair, and he is a strong safety. How good was Harrison?
I can't do it. I can't.
We're talking about like a leadership position. I guess we do. I mean, we do need vets. That's for sure.
I can't do it, bro. I can't.
You don't like it?
But he's old, bro. He's 35, turning 36, though, man.
No, he's 36 already, bro.
He's so good.
I don't know.
No, he's 35.
Hey,
let me see.
Let me tell
he's
you.
36. He just turned 36.
Let's recall the last time the Rams brought in a 36-year-old safety and what happened that year.
I don't lie. That was for 4 games, and we're talking about 17 plus.
But you're talking about a guy who's
we did bring
Pro
how old was Weddle when we brought him in 2018?
That's a good point. He might have been like 33.
He was 34.
He was 34.
No, he was 36.
No, first time.
He was 36 in 2020.
No, I'm talking about 2019.
The first time he was 34 though. Okay, he was good that year.
I was talking about when we brought him in 2019. He was 34.
Yeah.
So yeah,
he was good. He was good too.
Oh, okay.
Just
I
saying.
mean, I can see what you're saying.
I bet you Harrison be cheap too, like 8-10 million.
He's definitely gonna be cheap. Yeah, that's not a doubt. He's a 36-year-old guy.
So who else we putting on here? You guys want Holland?
Hey,
I kind of don't want Holland.
I personally don't because I think he's gonna be overpaid.
I'm putting Harrison.
Guys, listen. This is gonna sound crazy, but he had an actual good year last year. DeMar Hamlin was good last year.
No way, no chance.
It's crazy to think
about.
He wasn't
that good.
DeMar Hamlin, he was good last year, bro.
I feel like it was overrated, man.
Look at his stats, bro. He was good last year, bro. He was good, bro.
Let's see the coverage rating.
He was good, bro. I'm telling you.
103.
Like, hold on. Did he make All Pro? Or he got voted?
No,
he got voted to be
All Pro comeback player of the year.
Yeah, I'm tripping.
That's for comeback player of the year. Yeah.
No, I think the issue is if DeMar Hamlin didn't have a heart attack on the field, no one would think he was good. That's the problem.
I feel like the Bills are gonna bring it back, anyways.
It's true.
I'm just
there's another guy as well, Von Bell.
I like Von Bell. Von Bell cool.
He's a good player. He's also cheap. He'll be cheap as well. He's always just been a quality vet.
Solid coverage. It's
I
decent.
mean,
It was
he's
a
just like
bad year, but
he had a bit of a down year, but he's still a good player.
But is he a strong safety? I don't think he's a strong safety. I think he's a free safety.
He played both, strong and free.
He has been both.
When he was at Cincinnati, when he was at his best, he was playing strong safety. Or there's also another option we could go is to bring back Justin Jefferson. And why did I say Justin Jefferson? I mean John Johnson.
Of course.
That's also another option.
I don't know if I want John Johnson.
He was great before he got hurt, man.
Yeah,
hey,
but
man, I'm not against it. He's still
something new. I want something.
I mean, that's fair, but I'm just saying it's an option.
Yeah, I don't have. I wouldn't like be mad about it. Obviously,
there's also another guy. I'm trying to see if his name is on this list. Julian Blackmon. I had Blackmon on my list as well.
I said Justin Blackmon. That's the receiver. I'm tripping.
Oh, he's a free safety though. He's a free.
He's only 26.
Yeah, he's young still.
Yeah.
Oh, I was talking about the guy from Hufanga. Let's see how Hufanga did last year.
He was a win.
I felt like he had a down year after the injury he had.
But he was all pro 2 years ago.
He was all pro, but he's had injury.
He was a 1 year wonder, bro. I'm sorry.
I feel like that injury kind of messed him up. So yeah, I don't think he's the same guy.
What Poyer?
Poyer? Okay, we can look at it. He's like he is old. I'll say that.
I thought he was gonna retire.
Did he say he's retired?
I thought I seen something. Let me double check. I thought I seen something. What's this Jordan Poyer?
Yeah.
I seen something.
No, it said Micah Hyde to retire.
Most Micah?
Okay.
I know. Okay. I'm tripping. I knew it was somebody.
Poyer is decent. I wouldn't be upset as a cheap vet option with Poyer, to be honest.
He's literally he's like another cheap vet. He's like another Harrison. It's like a Harrison Smith option. Just a cheap vet. I think there's another guy as well. Let me see if he's on the list. Let me see. Is he there?
JJ3.
Andre Cisco. Cisco. There he is.
Oh, Jaguars. Yeah.
Yeah, he's also young. Look how young he is.
He's 24.
Super young.
He's awful.
He's pretty bad though.
Holy crap, that's bad.
He's probably gonna get overpaid as well.
Nah, I'm gonna skip on that one.
That's probably a void.
What about this guy?
Simmons?
What?
Justin
Simmons? Simmons is a straight.
He's a free safety though. He's a free safety. Xavier. What about Xavier Woods?
Let's take a look at Woods.
What was Xavier with last year?
He was with the Panthers. Okay. 119 tackles, 6 pass deflections, 3 interceptions.
He's another one of those guys that is
not bad.
He's an underrated guy. He would be another like cheap option.
I think this is enough for here.
Yeah, I would say that's good. I mean, we can look at trades now.
Yeah,
there are options though. There are options. I mean, I would say safety. It is definitely not at the same priority as corner or linebacker.
Yeah.
But if they do address it, I'm not against it.
Yeah, exactly.
But that factors on if they move Cam Curl to the star.
Yeah, that's a scenario. But we're also talking about a potential star find. So
true.
Actually, you know what? We could add a star. Who was it that we were talking about? Nate Hobbs as a star, maybe.
Nate Hobbs.
We were talking about Nate Hobbs but we said he's more of a slot. But Nate Hobbs could be a star, I bet. And then, is there any other corners, real quick, that could be a
star?
There's not really. Maybe Mike Hughes.
Yeah,
that's a tough one. Okay, let's go back to the trading scenario. Star or safety options.
This would be.
That's probably my least.
I don't think this would be a trading.
I wouldn't trade. Yeah, I wouldn't trade.
Because this is basically this is just hindering on like if they decide to move Cam to the star, which they should. But if they do that, it'll probably be a free agency addition, probably some cheaper guy.
Yeah.
But I don't think this is a trade option.
All right. So then we are done with that, and that is all for today.
Yep.
That is all our defensive positions. We'll do some draft. Now, next week, we're going to look at draft prospects for both offense and defense. And then on the 4th of March, before the start of free agency, we'll do our full-blown mock. We'll sign players, we'll cut players, we'll trade players, and we will draft players. So we'll have a full mock prepared for the 4th, and we'll go to town. How are you guys feeling about our options?
Feel good.
There's a lot,
bro.
man.
You
Defensively,
think we should do a quick recap, real quick?
Yeah.
yeah, we can do a quick recap. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
our needs are set up as this. One of the things we'll do next week. Actually, we could do that right now if you guys want. You guys want to pick our top free agent options for each position, or you want?
I don't care. You can do it.
I mean, either we leave it for another video or do it now.
Yeah, let's do it next week. Let's do it next week.
Yeah.
Okay.
So next week we're gonna pick our top free agent options and start discussing the draft options, and then we'll prepare for everything after that. So these are our needs. Quarterback, we have a plethora of starter and backup options, both free agent and trade. Running back is a little bit slimmer. That's kind of just
It's more of a draft like
More
situation.
draft
for
spot.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Receiver is deep in both options. And
Super deep.
there's rich options like T. Higgins and Garrett Wilson or George Pickens, and there's cheaper options like Keenan Allen, Darius Slayton, Alec Pierce, that kind of stuff. So it's all over the place. Tight end, we only have 3 starter trades: Michael Mayer, Mark Andrews, Kyle Pitts.
It's also another draft scenario.
Yeah.
Yes.
Draft as well.
Free agent left tackles: Ronnie Stanley, re-signing Alaric Jackson, Cam Robinson, Tyrone Smith, or Jedrick Wills. And then trade options: Colt Miller and Jake Matthews. Guard, we just have 2 guys as kind of rotational guard backups: Will Hernandez and Coleman Shelton. Nose tackle: Jerron Reed, BJ Hill, Calais Campbell, Greg Gaines, Poona Ford, Javon Kinlaw, DJ Jones, and Milton Williams. A lot of good starter or depth options there. Defensive end: Calais Campbell, Sebastian Josuday, and Javon Kinlaw. And then edge rushers, we just have the 3 kind of rumored trade superstar dream trades. Inside linebacker, there's just whatever tier you want, whatever you desire. There's options for that everywhere. And then cornerback, we actually have quite a lot of options at cornerback. All of the trade options have been rumored to some extent during this offseason. So, I put Jalen on there, even though we decided he wasn't financially possible, didn't we? Let's take Jalen off so we don't mistake that next week or when we're putting our mock together. But yeah, options everywhere, and then we got the star/safety role if we move Cam Curl to the star, or we want to choose one of these guys at the star. We have a plethora of solid free agent options there as well.
Yep.
So I'm excited to. We have plenty of good options in free agency and trade.
A lot of options.
A lot of draft options, but it's gonna be really exciting to see how the offseason unfolds. But guys,
It gets even better from here now because we have free agency and then draft.
Yeah.
Bro, what's
Draft
today?
analysis.
The 18th?
Yeah.
Free agency is literally in
Is it the
2.5
10th?
2.5 weeks. Yeah.
Yeah.
The
The 10th
tampering
is when-
the
yeah.
tampering starts March 10th.
Which is
so
why on the
2.5 weeks.
4th we're gonna do a full blown mock so that we have that
Yeah.
done before
Yeah.
free agency. But
Yep.
so many options, guys. Next week we're gonna be knocking out draft prospects, and we're gonna pick our favorites at each position. And then the week after that, we're gonna do our full blown mock, and then we'll start covering all the news from free agency. Start covering more trade news. We'll start doing draft prospect kind of watch parties / breakdowns every single week until the draft. And then after the draft, we're going to be breaking down every player of the Rams draft. We're going to break them down all the way and figure out who they are, what they look like, what our thoughts are. But guys, thank you for watching. We appreciate you guys tuning in. Please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think about the options on the defensive side of the ball to fill those positions of need that we got. And make sure you guys tune in for the rest of the offseason content as we'll be breaking down literally everything that happens and everything that we think could happen. So appreciate you guys
Should be a
watching,
good one.
and we'll see you guys next episode.
Take care, y'all.